So first off, I'm going to join the back piece. Now I'm going to start off by making a slip knot, and then I attach my yarn to the bottom right corner of my small square. Then I'm chaining 3 and making 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets into the corner. And then I'm just going to be making the clusters as normal until I reach the top left corner of the square. So now I reached the top left corner and I'm just going to be making 3 double crochets into that corner. Then I'm going to chain 1. And here is where we're going to start joining. So I'm taking my bigger square and facing both my squares so they have the wrong size touching. And then I'm going to be joining my smaller square to the corner of the bigger square with a slip stitch. Just make sure that your hearts are facing the right way. And then I'm just going back into my smaller square corner and making 3 double crochets. And now instead of chaining 1, I go straight into the next chain 2 space on the bigger square and I slip stitch right into there. And then I go back to my smaller square and make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And then again, instead of chaining 1, I go and slip stitch into the next chain 2 space of the bigger square and then go back into my smaller square and make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And then again I slip stitch into the next chain 2 space of the bigger square, and now we reach the bottom left corner of the smaller square and I just make 3 double crochets into there. Then I chain 1, slip stitch into the corner of the bigger square, go back into my smaller square and make 3 double crochets into the corner. And now our 2 squares are joined together. Then you just finish the square as normal, make 3 double crochets into the next 2 chain 2 spaces and then join to the top of the first double crochet. And this is basically how you're going to be joining all of your squares. Just attach the yarn at the corner that is the most convenient for you and always join just one square at a time. So as I said earlier, you're going to start by joining from the bottom and up of each piece. So start by making your back piece, then make your 2 front pieces, and when you're on the top square of the front piece, you attach that square to the top of the back piece as well, and you do that on both sides. And then you end by making both your sleeves, and at the top of each sleeve you attach those to the sides of the back and front piece. And I will meet you when we have done that. Okay guys, so now I have finished joining all of my pieces. And this is what it should look like so far. I have my sleeve here. This is the back piece and right here is the front piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to join the sleeve now. And what I had to do, I already joined one side just so I could show you how it looks like. I joined the side with the same granny square stitch, and then I had to join my sleeve by making 2 additional rows all the way down the sleeve, just because I felt the sleeve was a little bit too tight on my hands. And I will show you how to do that. It's not necessary if you like the more like tapered look to your hand, but I like the balloon sleeve look, so that's what I did. Let's just start with the sleeve. So I'm still using my 5.5mm hook, and I'm just gonna make a slip knot. And I'm going to just slip stitch right into my corner at the bottom of the sleeve. And I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to make 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. I'm going to chain 1 and make 3 double crochets into the next, chain 2 space and chain 1, and so on until you reach all the way up to the armpits. Okay, so now I have reached the armpits and I've just made 3 double crochets into the last corner here, and now I'm just going to fasten off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip our cardigan over so that the back piece is facing us, like this. And we're going to join our back and front piece together. So now I'm just going to make another slip knot. And I'm just attaching my yarn to the corner of the back piece. And I'm going to slip stitch and chain 2. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the corner of our front piece and attach that, just like this. And I'm going to make 2 double crochets into the corner of our back piece. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the next chain 2 space of our front piece and go back into our back piece and make 3 double crochets. So we're just joining the same way as we have our granny squares. Then I go back into the front piece, slip stitch and make 3 double crochets into our back piece. And I'm going to do this all the way up to the armpits again. So we just go right up here, join your armpits, and then join your sleeve all the way down. And I will meet you when we're all the way down our sleeve. Okay, so now I've reached the end of my sleeve and I've just slip stitched into the back side of the sleeve, and I'm just going to make 21 single crochets all around the sleeve opening here. So I'm just going to start by chaining 1, and then I'm going to make just 21 single crochets around. So I make 1 in here, 1 into the next chain 2 space, 1 into the middle of the next 3 double crochet cluster, and just anywhere you want you can make 21 single crochets around, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so now I've made 21 single crochets around. I'm just going to slip stitch right into the first single crochet that we made. Now it's time to change our hook. So I'm just pulling up on my loop a little bit and I'm changing to my 4mm crochet hook. And now we're going to begin the ribbing. So I start by chaining 13. And then into the second chain from the hook, I'm just going to single crochet all the way down. Alright, so now I'm at the bottom of my chain and I'm just going to be slip stitching into every other single crochet around. I'm gonna slip stitch right into this one. And then I'm turning my work and we're gonna go back up our chain. So I'm just going to make 1 single crochet into the back loops only of the next 12 single crochets. So now I'm at the top and I'm going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the back loops only all the way down and join into every other single crochet around. That's basically what you're gonna be doing around, and I will meet you at the last single crochet. Okay, so now I'm at my last single crochet here, and I'm just gonna turn my work and make my way back up the ribbing. And still into the back loops only. Alright, now instead of chaining 1, I am just going to slip stitch all the way down. So I'm going to slip stitch into the first chain that we made, just right into the corner here. And join the sleeve. And now we're going to make 12 slip stitches all the way down, and then we're going to fasten off at the end. And I'm still just going into the back loops only. And now our sleeve is joined, and I'm just going to fasten off. And then I'll just weave that in later. And now our sleeve is ready. Okay, now we're going to start on the ribbing on the bottom of the cardigan, and I'm just going to start by flipping my work upside down. And we're going to start on the left side of the cardigan. And I'm just starting with my 5mm hook again, and I'm just going to make a slip knot. And I'm going to slip stitch just right into the first corner here. And now I'm going to make 81 single crochets all the way around the cardigan. And I will meet you just right at the end here. Okay, so now I'm at the other side of my cardigan, and I'm just going to be fastening off right here. And then we're going to start again on the other side, but we're going to be using our smaller hook. So just change over to your 4mm hook, and you're going to make one slip knot. And then we're just going to join to the first single crochet. And we're just going to be starting the ribbing now on the bottom of the cardigan. And we're going to be doing it basically the same way as we did on the sleeve. But this time I'm going to be chaining 11 instead of 13. Then we just single crochet down our chain. And that is going to be 10 single crochets. And then I slip stitch into every other single crochet. Okay, so now for the ribbing on the front part, we're going to start by attaching our yarn with a single crochet to the very bottom stitch on the cardigan. And then now I'm going to make one single crochet into the back loops only of the next 11 stitches, so up to here. And then we're going to make 100 stitches around. So that's a total of 110 stitches, and you're going to end at the bottom here. And there you can just fasten off and weave in the ends, and I will meet you when we've fastened off over here. Okay guys, now I have single crocheted all around my cardigan. It's time to add the ribbing. This is my third time filming this because I was originally gonna make it the same as this one, but then I didn't like how it looked and I keep changing my mind, so hopefully this will be the last time. But I'm going to use my 5.5mm hook for this, and we're just gonna make a slip knot and attach our yarn to the first stitch over here on the bottom of our cardigan. And I'm going to be slip stitching to join. And then we're going to chain 2. And I'm going to be adding buttons to my cardigan, so I've marked here on 3 places in the front that I want my buttonholes to be. I just eyeballed it, like I didn't measure it at all, it looks like it's even. And we're going to be making half double crochets all the way around. And you can just distribute them evenly, they don't have to go into every single stitch, just make sure that they are distributed evenly. So we just start with 1 half double crochet, and then to make the hole for the button I am going to chain 2 and go over the stitch that I marked and half double crochet right into the next stitch, and that will give us this little hole here. And then we just continue around. Make half double crochets evenly around and chain 2 over your stitch markers to make the hole for the buttons. at this marker, chain 2, and go into the next stitch. And I just continue all the way around until I reach the other bottom of my cardigan, and I will meet you there. Alright, so now I am all the way at the other side of the cardigan, and if you want you could just fasten off here and weave in your ends and you're done, but I think I want to make mine just a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to chain 2 and turn my work and work 1/2 double crochet in every stitch until I reach this side right here. And when you reach the gaps for your buttons, you just make 1/2 double crochet into each hole and then just continue on until you reach the end. And there you can fasten off and weave in the ends. And then we just have to sew on our buttons and then we are done. I will meet you at the end here. Okay, now I've finally reached the end of the cardigan and I'm just going to be weaving in my end. And then I'm going to attach my buttons. Now I found that I didn't have the buttons that I wanted to use, so I just have these vintage ones that I blocked off a shirt that I thrifted. So I'm just going to be using these, but I wanted to use like some wooden buttons or something like with pearls, but I think I'll use these for now. But yeah, so now I'm just going to be weaving in my ends. And now I'm just going to attach my buttons. And we have got one button. So you're basically just going to be attaching your buttons like that, and then you are done.